Welcome to the Deep Dive, your daily dose of current affairs, specifically for UPSC aspirants. Today, we're kicking off a brand new series, diving deep into the most relevant news from February 5th, 2025. To help you stay ahead in your exam prep,
sounds good.
to guide us through this
ocean
of information, we've got our expert analysts here, ready to break it all down and connect the dots, how these events might appear on your exam.
Absolutely. Packed lineup today, covering everything from wildlife conservation to groundbreaking scientific initiatives and even a peek into India's rich manuscript heritage. So let's dive right in.
Okay, great. Now, we know that staying updated on current events is crucial for the UPSC exam, not just for prelims, but for mains and the interview stage. Let's start with a story that highlights the importance of understanding India's diverse ecosystems. Recently, there was some sad news from Bandhavgarh Tiger Reserve. Chota Bheem, a well-known tiger, passed away.
Right. And while it's a loss for the reserve, it's an opportunity for us to discuss Bandhavgarh itself, a place that frequently features in UPSC discussions. Located in Madhya Pradesh, it's known for having one of the highest tiger densities in the world.
It's not just about tigers, though, right?
Exactly. Bandhavgarh is home to a rich variety of flora and fauna. We find leopards, sloth bears, Indian bison, and even Asiatic elephants.
Wow.
It's a reminder that these reserves protect entire ecosystems, not just individual species. This interconnectedness is a key concept for UPSC, especially when analyzing environmental issues.
And it's fascinating how the reserve's history is woven into its name.
Absolutely. Bandhavgarh literally translates to brother's fort.
Oh, wow.
A legend has it that Lord Rama gifted the ancient Bandhavgarh fort, a prominent landmark within the reserve, to his brother Lakshmana. This blending of history and natural heritage is something you might encounter in UPSC questions, especially those focusing on cultural landscapes.
Speaking of delicate ecosystems, our next stop takes us to the wetlands of Andhra Pradesh, where Kolleru Lake has been making headlines. The National Green Tribunal, or NGT, recently halted several infrastructure projects planned in the Kolleru wetland area.
This decision underscores the tension between development and environmental protection, a recurring theme in UPSC. Kolleru Lake is Asia's largest shallow freshwater lake and plays a crucial role in flood control, situated between the deltas of the Krishna and Godavari rivers, acting as a natural buffer during monsoon season.
It's also a haven for migratory birds, right? I remember reading about Siberian cranes and those striking painted storks.
Yes. Kolleru Lake is a designated Ramsar site, meaning it's a wetland of international importance for migratory birds. Imagine, over 50,000 waterfowl, depending on this ecosystem.
Wow.
The NGT ruling emphasizes the need to consider the impact of development projects on biodiversity, a key aspect of environmental policy.
From a vast lake to a bird that's adapted to urban life. Our next story features the black kite. They were recently spotted nesting in a tower structure. Yes. This adaptability is quite interesting.
Indeed. Black kites, with their distinctive forked tails, are known for their versatility. They can be found in various habitats and are opportunistic feeders, scavenging as much as they hunt. This ability to thrive in human-dominated landscapes makes them a fascinating case study for urban ecology, a topic that's increasingly relevant for the UPSC exam.
And it reminds us that human activities have a significant impact on wildlife, pushing some species to adapt in unexpected ways.
Absolutely. Now, switching gears. From wildlife to agriculture, let's talk about cardamom, the queen of spices, which recently saw an expansion in its royal family, so to speak.
Tell us more about this.
Researchers have identified 6 new cardamom species, adding to the existing varieties of this valuable spice. This discovery highlights the incredible biodiversity of the Western Ghats, where cardamom originates, and the ongoing efforts to classify and conserve plant genetic resources.
Cardamom cultivation.
Yes.
Very specific, isn't it? It thrives in particular soil and climatic conditions, mainly in the southern states.
Yes, it thrives in the Western Ghats, particularly in Kerala, Karnataka, and Tamil Nadu. Cardamom's sensitivity to its environment makes it a good example of how geographical factors influence agricultural practices. This link between geography and agriculture is a recurring theme in the UPSC syllabus.
And it's not just a spice, right? Cardamom plays a role in traditional medicine as well.
Precisely. It highlights the cultural and economic significance of this spice. Understanding these multifaceted aspects of a commodity is important for the UPSC exam.
Now let's turn our attention to another agricultural commodity that was recently in the news, extra long staple cotton, or ELS cotton, the finance minister announced, a 5-year mission to boost its production.
That's right. And this mission is particularly interesting because ELS cotton represents a higher value product with the potential to increase farmers' income.
So why haven't Indian farmers been growing more of it already?
Well, ELS cotton is known for its longer, stronger fibers, which are used to make high-quality fabrics. However, it's also challenging to cultivate with lower yields compared to regular cotton varieties. This means farmers need more support in terms of technology, marketing, and access to premium markets.
So the government's focus on ELS cotton could have significant implications for the agricultural economy, particularly in cotton-growing regions. It'll be interesting to see how this mission unfolds and what strategies are implemented to address the challenges faced by farmers.
Definitely. It's a great example of how government policy can influence agricultural practices and potentially impact rural livelihoods, a topic often explored in UPSC.
Now let's shift gears and delve into the world of science and technology, where India has unveiled a groundbreaking initiative called GARBHINI-DRISHTI.
This is truly an exciting development. Think of it as a massive data repository focused on maternal and neonatal health.
Okay, break it down for our listeners. What exactly is GARBHINI-DRISHTI and how does it work?
It's a data dashboard that provides insights from one of South Asia's largest pregnancy cohort data sets, basically under the Department of Biotechnology's GARBHINI program. Data from over 12,000 pregnant women, newborns, and mothers has been meticulously collected. GARBHINI-DRISHTI allows researchers to access and analyze this vast data set, potentially leading to breakthroughs in maternal and child health.
So it's like harnessing the power of big data for healthcare.
Exactly. It's a testament to India's growing capabilities in biomedical research and its commitment to utilizing technology for social good. And the potential impact on public health, particularly for mothers and children, is enormous. It's definitely something to keep an eye on, especially for UPSC, as it touches upon themes of healthcare, technology, and social development.
And speaking of social development, let's talk about a mission aimed at preserving India's cultural heritage, the Gyan Bharatam Mission.
This is a fascinating initiative announced in the recent Union budget. It aims to conserve and document a staggering 1 crore manuscripts, handwritten compositions, at least 75 years old. Imagine the wealth of knowledge contained in these documents.
It's a monumental task. What are the key aspects of this mission, and how will it work?
The Gyan Bharatam Mission has 3 main pillars. First, creating a national digital repository to house these valuable manuscripts. Think of it as a vast digital library, accessible to researchers and students worldwide.
That's incredible. So much potential for research and scholarship.
Absolutely. Second, the mission aims to facilitate knowledge sharing. By making these digitized manuscripts accessible to institutions globally, this will foster collaboration and new perspectives on India's intellectual history. And finally, the mission emphasizes long-term conservation, using modern preservation techniques to protect these fragile documents from deterioration.
This mission seems like a significant step towards preserving and celebrating India's rich cultural heritage. And it raises an important question. What exactly constitutes a manuscript? How is it different from historical records, like inscriptions or revenue documents?
That's a great question, and it's relevant for UPSC as well. A manuscript in this context refers to handwritten compositions on various materials like paper, bark, cloth, or palm leaves. They contain significant scientific, historical, or aesthetic value and provide insights into different facets of Indian society, culture, and knowledge systems. They're distinct from historical records that serve administrative or legal purposes.
So manuscripts offer a unique window to India's intellectual traditions.
Precisely. And the Gyan Bharatam Mission recognizes their importance in shaping national identity. It's definitely a topic worth exploring further, especially for those preparing for UPSC essays on culture and heritage.
It really makes you think, doesn't it, how one event can just ripple out and affect so many different areas. And that's exactly the kind of analytical thinking that the UPSC exam demands.
Exactly. It's not just about knowing the facts, but understanding the connections and implications.
Okay, so we've explored ecological hotspots, delved into agricultural innovations. Now let's talk about something that piqued my curiosity. This discovery of ancient landforms beneath the North Sea. Sounds like something straight out of a geological mystery novel.
It really does. Researchers using advanced sonar technology found evidence of these massive land masses now submerged under the waves. They believe these landscapes existed thousands of years ago before being inundated by rising sea levels during the last ice age.
It's fascinating to think about, isn't it? These hidden landscapes, lost to time, now revealing clues about Europe's ancient past. It reminds us that our planet is constantly changing, and there's still so much we don't know about its history.
Absolutely. And it highlights how geological events, like ice ages and shifting sea levels, have shaped not only the physical landscape, but also human history. Imagine the people who might have lived on those lands, the stories they might have told.
It sparks the imagination, doesn't it? Now, speaking of things that spark the imagination, let's move from ancient landscapes to the intriguing world of ambergris. It's often called whale vomit, which doesn't sound very appealing, but it's actually highly prized.
It is. Ambergris is a waxy substance produced in the digestive systems of sperm whales. Scientists believe it forms around hard, indigestible objects like squid beaks that the whales swallow.
So it's sort of like a protective layer.
Exactly. And while it might start out as something not very glamorous, ambergris undergoes a fascinating transformation when it's expelled by the whale and floats in the ocean for years. Exposed to sunlight and salt water, it develops a unique aroma that's highly sought after in the perfume industry.
That's incredible. Something that originates in a whale's digestive system becomes a key ingredient in expensive perfumes.
It's true. And that's precisely why it's so valuable and why, unfortunately, it has led to the exploitation of sperm whales in the past. Many countries, including India, have banned the trade of ambergris to protect these magnificent creatures from being hunted for this substance.
It's a reminder that even seemingly harmless commodities have a dark side when economic interests clash with ethical considerations and conservation efforts.
Absolutely. Now let's shift our focus to a completely different realm, the world of global health and the World Health Organization, or WHO. It's been in the news recently, facing challenges and calls for reform.
Yes, I've been following the discussions about the USA's withdrawal from the WHO and the implications for global health cooperation. It seems like a critical time for this organization.
It is. The WHO plays a vital role in global health leadership, from setting standards for disease control to coordinating responses. During pandemics, it's also responsible for promoting research and development, particularly for diseases that disproportionately affect developing countries.
So for those of us who might not be completely familiar with the WHO structure, can you break it down? How does it actually function?
The WHO operates through a system of governance that includes the World Health Assembly, its main decision-making body, which comprises representatives from all member states. It sets policies and approves the WHO's budget. Then there's the executive board, composed of technically qualified members elected by the Assembly, which implements those policies and advises the Director General.
And how does the WHO fund its operations?
The funding structure is quite interesting. Only a small portion of the budget comes from assessed contributions, which are mandatory dues paid by member states. The majority comes from voluntary contributions from governments, private organizations, and philanthropic foundations.
That reliance on voluntary contributions seems like it could create some uncertainty, doesn't it?
It does. It can lead to funding gaps and might also influence the WHO's priorities, depending on the interests of its donors.
That makes sense. So knowing how the WHO operates, its funding structure, and the challenges it faces is crucial for understanding how global health policies are shaped and implemented.
Exactly. And for UPSC aspirants, it's important to analyze these international organizations, their strengths and weaknesses, and the role in addressing global challenges.
Now, from global health to something closer to home, let's talk about the Gyan Bharatam Mission, this ambitious initiative to conserve and document a vast number of ancient manuscripts. Seems like a monumental task.
It is. Imagine the sheer volume of these documents, handwritten compositions on various materials representing centuries of knowledge and cultural heritage. The mission aims to create a comprehensive digital repository, essentially a virtual library, where these manuscripts will be preserved and made accessible to researchers and scholars worldwide.
That's an incredible undertaking. What kinds of manuscripts are we talking about here?
We're talking about a wide range of texts, from scientific treatises and philosophical works to literary compositions and religious scriptures. They're written in various languages, and scripts reflecting the incredible diversity of India's intellectual traditions. These manuscripts offer a unique glimpse into the evolution of ideas, beliefs, and practices over centuries.
It sounds like this digital repository will be a treasure trove of information for anyone interested in Indian history, culture, and intellectual history.
Absolutely. And it highlights the importance of preserving these fragile documents. For future generations, imagine the discoveries that await researchers as they delve into these digitized collections.
And speaking of discoveries, we can't forget about the news from the world of agriculture. The finance minister's announcement of a 5-year mission to boost the production of extra long staple cotton, or ELS cotton.
This mission is significant because it targets a high-value product that could potentially transform the cotton industry in India. ELS cotton, with its longer, finer fibers, is used to make premium fabrics, and there's a growing global demand for it.
So what are the challenges that need to be addressed to make this mission a success?
One of the biggest hurdles is yield. ELS cotton varieties tend to have lower yields compared to regular cotton, making it less attractive for farmers, especially when they face market uncertainties.
So it's not just about increasing production, but also ensuring that farmers have access to the right technology, support systems, and marketing channels to make ELS cotton cultivation profitable.
Exactly. The mission will require a multi-pronged approach, focusing on research and development, technology transfer, market linkages, and perhaps even policy interventions to incentivize farmers to adopt ELS cotton cultivation.
Now let's turn our attention to the GARBHINI-DRISHTI initiative, which seems like a game changer in the field of maternal and child health.
It truly is. This data-driven platform has the potential to revolutionize how we understand and address the challenges faced by pregnant women, newborns, and mothers.
It all starts with data. Can you tell us more about the GARBHINI program and how it led to the creation of GARBHINI-DRISHTI?
The GARBHINI program, launched by the Department of Biotechnology, is a remarkable effort to collect and analyze data related to maternal and neonatal health on a massive scale. Imagine a cohort of over 12,000 pregnant women being tracked from early pregnancy through childbirth and beyond.
That's a huge amount of data.
It is. And GARBHINI-DRISHTI is the platform that makes this data accessible and usable for researchers. It provides a comprehensive overview, allowing them to explore trends, identify risk factors, and develop targeted interventions to improve maternal and child health outcomes.
This seems like a powerful example of how big data can be harnessed for social good, particularly in the field of healthcare.
Absolutely. It showcases India's growing expertise in biomedical research and data analytics, and its commitment to utilizing technology to address pressing public health challenges.
Now, from cutting-edge technology to the timeless allure of nature, let's revisit our discussion about wildlife conservation, particularly the challenges faced by iconic species like the tiger, the news of Chota Bheem's passing from Bandhavgarh Tiger Reserve serves as a stark reminder of the threats these magnificent creatures face.
It does. Habitat loss, poaching, and human-wildlife conflict continue to be major concerns for tiger conservation.
Bandhavgarh itself is a unique landscape known for its high tiger density and rich biodiversity. Can you talk about its significance in the context of tiger conservation efforts in India?
Bandhavgarh is a crucial part of Project Tiger, a conservation program launched in 1973 to protect this endangered species. The reserve's success in increasing tiger populations is a testament to the effectiveness of conservation efforts, but it also highlights the ongoing challenges.
What kind of challenge?
Well, as tiger populations increase, so does the potential for conflict with humans living in and around the reserve. Finding ways to mitigate this conflict and ensure the coexistence of humans and wildlife is crucial for the long-term success of conservation initiatives.
It's a reminder that conservation isn't just about protecting animals in isolation. It's about managing entire ecosystems and ensuring the well-being of both humans and wildlife.
Precisely. It requires a holistic approach that considers social, economic, and ecological factors.
And speaking of holistic approaches, our discussion about the black kite nesting in an urban tower in Chennai underscores the adaptability of certain species and the need for us to understand and manage our impact on the natural world.
Absolutely. The black kite's ability to thrive in urban environments is fascinating, but it also raises questions about how urbanization is shaping ecosystems and what we can do to ensure the well-being of both wildlife and people in these shared spaces.
It's a reminder that conservation isn't confined to pristine wilderness areas. It's relevant everywhere, even in our bustling cities.
Exactly. And with that, we've come full circle, exploring a remarkable range of topics that highlight the interconnectedness of our world, from the depths of the North Sea to the bustling streets
Mm-hmm.
of Chennai, from the intricate workings of the human body to the delicate balance of ecosystems.
It's been an incredible journey so far.
Mm.
And for our listeners, remember, this is just part 2 of our 3-part deep dive into the most relevant current affairs for your UPSC preparation. It's amazing to see how all these stories from science and technology to culture and the environment are interconnected in some way. And for UPSC aspirants, that's a crucial lesson, right?
Absolutely. The UPSC exam demands that you not only have a breadth of knowledge, but also the ability to connect the dots to see the bigger picture and understand how different events and issues influence each other.
So as we wrap up this deep dive into current affairs, let's reflect on some of the key takeaways for our listeners who are on their UPSC journey. What are some of the most important things for them to keep in mind?
Well, I think the first takeaway is the importance of staying updated. We've covered a lot of ground today, from recent developments in science and technology to policy decisions and environmental issues. It's crucial to be aware of these current events and how they relate to the UPSC syllabus.
That makes sense. The exam isn't just about static knowledge. It's about applying that knowledge to current events and analyzing real-world situations.
Exactly. And that leads to the second takeaway, the need to develop critical thinking skills. Don't just passively absorb information, question it, analyze it, and think about its implications.
So, for example, when we discussed the GARBHINI-DRISHTI initiative, it wasn't just about understanding the technology behind it. It was also about considering its potential impact on maternal and child health, its implications for healthcare policy, and its role in advancing India's scientific capabilities.
Precisely. The UPSC exam demands that you go beyond surface-level understanding and delve into the complexities of an issue, considering its various dimensions.
And the third takeaway, I think, is recognizing the interconnectedness of everything. Whether it's the delicate balance of an ecosystem, the impact of agricultural policies on rural livelihoods, or the role of international organizations in shaping global health, everything is connected in some way.
Yes. And that interconnectedness is something that UPSC frequently tests. They want to see if you can make those connections, if you can understand how events in one area might have ripple effects in other areas.
So for our listeners, remember, it's not enough to simply memorize facts and figures. You need to develop the ability to analyze, to connect, and to think critically about the world around you. And that's exactly what this Daily Deep Dive series aims to help you do.
Exactly. We're here to guide you through the vast sea of current affairs, helping you navigate the information, make sense of it, and connect it to your UPSC preparation.
So to our listeners, we encourage you to stay tuned. Join us every day as we explore the most relevant and intriguing current events, providing you with the insights and perspectives you need to ace your UPSC exam.
And before we sign off, remember to engage with us. Leave your comments, share your thoughts, and let us know what topics you'd like us to cover in future episodes.
Absolutely. Your feedback is valuable and helps us tailor this series to your needs. So until tomorrow, keep diving deep, keep exploring, and keep learning.